Hey guys, we are back. That's right, we are here again. I hope you all had an absolutely fantastic Christmas and a great new year. I'm talking to you now from 2026, so we have a big year ahead. And what better way to start the year off than with some homegrown friends of ours? I'm talking about the Afterlife Party. If you don't know who they are a team here in Perth, Western Australia, who have done some absolutely fantastic videos, and they are very good paranormal investigators. They do things the right way. They don't mess around. They don't fake things. They leave everything raw on their videos so that you can interpret them however you want. They leave that to you. They are genuinely nice people and well received by a lot of our local vendors and the public, as well as a lot of locations. So it goes to show that when you do things the right way, you do get the results. Tonight, I have from the Afterlife Party Jason and Kat, who will be joining me, and we will be talking about what makes them tick, what drove them to do what they are doing now, and how they go about doing these things, because there's a lot involved in some of the stuff that they are doing, and it is absolutely brilliant. So I don't want to keep everybody waiting. We will bring Jason and Kat in right after this little jingle. Hey everybody, we have Jason and Kat here from the Afterlife Party. How are you guys?
Good.
Yeah, not bad.
Not bad. Good to be here, man.
Yeah, you're one of our fellow Perth teams, and from what I've seen, you are one of the best ones I know because you're so organised with everything. It's nice to see.
Oh, you should see the tick sheet of stuff we go through before investigating. It's like a 56-step process, but thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
So tell me, how did you guys get into the paranormal to start with, and how did the team come about?
Interesting, because when I had been out on and off since 2009, I found the interest from this since kind of I watched kind of shows here and there that came up on TV. Like for me, it was me and my mum would sit up at night and maybe watch an episode of like Most Haunted, which goes back to the UK. Always had an interest in it, but it wasn't until my grandpa passed away that was all the way in Scotland, and I never got back to really visit after his passing. And I was just really kicking myself because I was like, man, I should have done it. Because like he was my idol growing up. So doing that was just like, I should have gone. And it wasn't until like 2 weeks later where I was kind of laying in bed, going to bed at night, and I was just thinking about him, and I felt someone sit on the end of my bed. It's like, when the mattress goes down, like you could feel the weight of someone, the springs going. It was like that. And in that moment, I just said my goodbyes to Grandpa. And it wasn't until I finished, it kind of lifted, and it's almost like someone had got off the mattress. It wasn't until the next day I told my brother, because my brother, we were living together at the time. I told my brother, he goes, that's really weird. He goes, I thought someone sat on my bed last night too. So it wasn't until, and like he didn't say who he thought it was, but he did say he thought someone was there. And for me, that sparked it for me. I was like, I really want to know more. More so, I believe that was my grandpa in visitation, because it was just too, it was just too uncanny for me. But at the time, I just wanted to know more about that world. Like I've delved into watching shows with my mum, and just wanted to go out and get a feel for it for myself. So it was on and off for me until I met you.
Yeah, pretty much.
But
So I got into it. I think that I watched too many horror movies. But like, I think that's what sort of piqued my interest to begin with. And then coming across, of all things, ghost adventures. Unfortunately, which watching back now, I have a very different opinion of that
Yeah.
show, I think.
Yeah, I think we all do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was really sort of the first thing that I saw where people were going out and getting, evidence of the paranormal. And for me, I think I'm someone who I have to stand for myself. So I've had experiences before, but I think I was never really convinced, even by my own experiences, even though I was there. So, but the idea of being able to capture things like, in a way where you can kind of prove it a bit more I was really drawn to that. And I had some equipment already before I met Jason. And I'd sort of never expected that I'd be doing an actual YouTube channel though and filming it properly. Like
Yeah.
I only ever filmed for my own, like just for myself. And it definitely wasn't very well done because there was no audience. Didn't expect to be doing it to this level, but I love that we do.
Yeah, it's like the team kind of came about. Like I met Kat, and I just randomly threw in something about like I like the paranormal, and she was like, "Oh yeah, no way, me too." And I was like, "Really?" I was like, "I kind of have some basic equipment in the cupboard here because I had gone out previously with Michael and Kana, who were on our early videos in our channel, to Swampview Tunnel, just for them to have their first kind of paranormal experience. And we caught this wicked, like, disembodied breath, like, through the camera's mic, which was, like, loud as all hell. And, like, that was before I even knew Kat. So I had that kind of up my sleeve as I was streaming on Twitch at the time, and I was just going to put something out for some in real life content because it was mainly retro gaming stuff. It was, like, a complete, like, nothing to do with the paranormal. And kind of had that up my sleeve, met you, and we were like, oh, we should go out and do something. So lo and behold, we were talking about it at yours, and
Yeah. And the people that I house shared with, turns out, had a location for us.
yeah,
And they were like, oh, if you're doing that stuff, you've got to come down here. And that's how we ended up at Olive Estate,
yeah,
which will
10 questions ready to go, and I'm pretty sure you went through all of them right there and then, because my next question was going to be, how did you go from watching Ghost Adventures and things like that to actually deciding to get out there and start doing your own investigations? Did you look for teams at the time, or did you go straight to just doing it yourself?
We kind of just was like, okay, like when we went to Olive Estate, Afterlife Party didn't exist. There wasn't a channel, there wasn't a team, there was nothing. So it was just Kat and myself had the interest. I went to the Swanview Tunnel with Michael and Kana. Kana wasn't available, but Michael was like, hey, I'll join in. I was with the other one. And his cousin Shane came along as well. So we had the four of us. And it just so happened to be that I bought a Sony camera to take away to America like 2 months prior. So kind of had that, and we still had the old beat up to not very good night vision camera and a few bits of gear. So we're like, we'll take it down and see what's up. And
you already did streaming and you had your YouTube channel and were looking at doing more vlogging and stuff like that. So I think just having that interest in the film side already,
it was already
you're already editing videos and stuff. So it just made sense.
Kind of made sense. So we just filmed it because, if you're going to get evidence, we didn't expect to get anything. Like we kind of were just like, we're there for an experience, whatever.
And then with Olive Estate, just the stuff that we got was so crazy to us that we're like, well, this is something. And it's funny when it came out because we were like, we can't put this on the channel first. Nobody's going to believe us.
And it's because of that Olive Estate night that we said, oh, well, we kind of got a team here. Let's just put it up and see what happens. And then we're like, okay, that's a great idea, but we can't use this first because we can't put this up first because no one's going to believe a thing we're doing because we haven't established ourselves. We haven't done anything. Everyone's going to go, oh, that's potentially fake. So we're like, all right, well, we're going to have to do some other stuff. Then we looked back at the old Swanview Tunnel investigation that we filmed way back prior and thought, all right, we got 15 minutes of good footage out of this. How am I going to make this like 25 minutes long? Because I've got to but it's through that our process of, you know, getting those drone shots, those pickup shots, and our history and all that at the start, that's where it was kind of born, was because we needed filler for our very first video, and everyone loved the history and those pickup shots, and that's kind of now like is what we've done and what we've stuck to. It's been part of our formula, and it all came from we needed filler, essentially.
Yeah.
Going on what you're just saying there, I've got a question for you, and it'd be interesting to see how you answer this one. Do you consider yourselves a YouTube channel that focuses on the paranormal, or do you consider yourselves a paranormal team that documents your investigations?
Interesting, actually.
Very
interesting question. So this is probably one you should answer, but I think that for me, I'm really learning how much the YouTube side of it matters, because I think coming from my perspective, for me, that was never important to begin with. But as we sort of started out, I realized that the way that we build trust with an audience, the way that we build trust with our potential locations so that we can investigate cool places, is we need to show them something.
Yeah.
So when we're approaching, one of the second places we approached was like the Shire of Wanneroo. And like they want to see something. And that's where having that YouTube channel actually became so important, and building that up so that we have something to show people as a bit of a portfolio when we approach them, to say, hey, this is what we want to come and do. This is who we are. This is how we're going to represent the history of your place. We're not in it for scares. We're here for, like, we're very respectful. So the importance of that really, went through. And so I think that the two just go hand in hand for us. It's like in a way, we can't have one without the other.
Yeah.
The way that we work.
Because I think for me, like the YouTube channel, like that's essentially our CV. That's our resume. That's there for displaying purposes for future locations, like you said, to see what we're about. But it's also, for us, we put up whatever our findings are, and we let the people determine whether they think it's paranormal or not. We're not here to put words in their mouth. We have a few times where we got, like, we know for sure, like, this couldn't be anything else. And as you probably know, and any teams that go out, like, you can't always capture everything that you have on that night through a camera lens. You can't pick up feeling, you can't pick up on stuff like that. But for me, it's our CV, it's our resume of what we do. But as well, like, you could say YouTube and content creators, but for the lengths that we're doing, like, it's almost like, we're almost like, I don't know whether we're branching on the or flirting with the line of filmmaking now, because we've created a couple of feature films and some other stuff that has gone above and beyond, and we've tried looking beyond YouTube as well. You know what I mean? And it's like, YouTube's our resume, but what else can we do that takes things to another level, that goes past just creating content? Like, it's crazy how it's kind of taken on a life of its own. But yeah, you can't have one without the other.
For me, there's two really important things. Firstly is that we never forget why we're here, which is that we're here as paranormal investigators first and foremost. Everything that we do is because we're paranormal investigators. That has to come first, and our interactions with the spirits and all of that comes before anything that we do film wise. And the other thing, I forgot. My mind just went completely blank, and it was kind of important.
I think for me, right, is I think the investigating side of things, we love what we do and we're passionate about what we do.
Oh, I remember now.
And putting that out to people and showcasing it in exactly the way, like, we don't want to use audio jump scares and stuff. We want to leave it as raw as possible, displaying it in how we experienced it. You'll have your moments of quietness. You'll have your moments where you're sitting there and you can hear just like a pin drop. And that's because that's what we felt. We want to deliver the most authentic experience we can.
Yeah.
And that's what paranormal investigating is. And for me, giving people the most authentic experience of what it's like out there is so important. and displaying that to the world for us is like, we want to show people this is what it is. It's not necessarily stuff's going to go flying all the time. It's like, this is raw, but this is real, and this was our experience. And it's now up to you to take what you want from that and make up your own mind.
And
Yeah.
what it was that when, watching Ghost Adventures or any other paranormal content that I've seen, is my thing was I have to be there, like I have to see it for myself or something. And there's always those questions like, oh, but what's happening behind the camera? Who else is in the room? Like, what else is happening? And I think that's where the passion has come from, really, for me with the film side of things. That's how I've gotten into that side of it, is because I want to show people what I was looking for when I'm watching content, in that sense of like, let's try and make it so that there's as few things unanswered as possible. So let's get cameras on the whole room, make sure you see everyone's feet, that's really my motivation there, is to give, if we're going to be filming this shit, let's do it so that, it's going to be as authentic of an experience for others as it can be.
I'm glad you said that, because Jason and I ended up having probably a 2-hour conversation a couple of weeks ago on the phone, talking about a lot of this very same kind of thing. And I'm along a similar line to you guys, but I don't put most of my stuff up. In that, when we were down in Albion, I know you guys have investigated the same place. We were down at the old quarantine station in the isolation hospital there. And one of the first times we were down there, which was back in about 2008, 2009, something like that, we had the doors open on us in the middle of, we were doing a board session because we had somebody who could govern a board properly. And she invited Spirit to come forward. Now, the lay of the land there. There's those double doors that go out, and they've got the little cemetery, which is over the back from just near where the morgue is. There's a little cemetery there.
Yeah.
And those doors burst open at the same time. The K2s went off, the tri-field meters went off, everything was going off all at once. The only thing was, when I look back at it, I thought to myself, I could have said that was wind. I know it wasn't wind because it wasn't windy, but that changed the way I record now. So I will put, especially when we go down there, I will have cameras on the outside so you can see that there's nothing happening on the outside as well as on the inside. And I think you're going along a very similar way to what I'm talking about when I say that I watched a lot of the shows as well. I don't so much these days, but I'm always, what's happening just off the camera? What's happening there? And when I try to record something, I try to include all of it so that these questions aren't asked. And it sounds like you guys are doing the same sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't until we started like actually getting like disembodied footsteps and stuff like that, and we didn't have, statics back then because,
we had one. It
we
wasn't
had
very
one.
good.
It wasn't very good. There was
Now we've got 4.
Now we've got 4.
And it's not enough.
It's not enough.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until we captured them, we were like, well, we could put that up, sure. Like, people can choose to believe us or not believe us on them, but we wouldn't blame them if they didn't believe us because they couldn't see our feet aren't in shot because we're just on a handheld. So it's like, if people would say, like, hey, that's not, that could be anyone just moving the feet. It's like, well, we agree with you. So let's change that. What can we do to take that thought off the table? And that's rig every room we're in with as many statics and as much proof as we can and it's worked. We've got some coming up that are unbelievable when it comes to footsteps. And we're all in shot. We're not moving and we're all got our hands in the air like, hey, like we're not doing anything. And that's how important those kind of cameras are to investigating now.
All right. So what I'm going to do now, we're going to jump to one of your first investigations, and I want to know what was the first real big piece of evidence that you guys were like, ooh, we've got something here. What was that? And tell me what it was like.
We did Freemasons pretty early.
Well, I was thinking, like, for you, it was way back at Swanview Tunnel.
Swanview Tunnel, yeah, without a doubt. Like, I was the only one in there, and we picked up an audio. There's like and it's right in my ear, and the camera picks it up, and it's like that one big, like disembodied breath, like. And I was like, yeah, look, that's not wind. And you could tell it's not wind because the whole time I was in there, I'm moving around from side to side, and like you're getting no wind on the mic. Right? It was still as anything. But conclusively, I think the biggest shock was when we did the Freemasons Hotel in 2J. And I remember I was editing it, and we did that pretty early on. It didn't come out on the channel until a bit later because we kind of, we were like trying to get content out. We filmed a bunch of content to get in front, and then we dropped it as we go along.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about the one that I love.
There's a couple of things there,
Okay.
and that's why this one's important because it's not just one piece. There was a couple of pieces that were like, this one is definitely it. But it wasn't until we were editing, and we knew that night we picked up a few things, but when I was editing, I saw something and I was like, I immediately rang her because we didn't live together. And I was like, you need to see this. Like, I'm going to send you this on multiple angles. And we had a hiss on the stairs. And we were like, that's really gross. Like, and we heard that. And it wasn't until Kat and I then went downstairs to put a static camera down the hallway down below where we heard the hiss, and we put cat balls up the hallway. And as we're talking about it to the camera and documenting it's happened, you see a shadow come on the back wall and then just like move and walk through the wall. And it wasn't that we had no idea. And it wasn't until editing I was like, hang on a second. And it's where the light is. It's not casting my shadow to the back as I'm explaining. And it can't be Kat's because she's further back down the hallway. And we've put them side by side and measured it. And it's like, it's not casting my shadow. You can see I'm moving in a completely different way. It's not until we walked out of there that cat balls right at the end of that hallway just started going nuts where that was picked up. And we were like, holy crap. Like, okay, really cool. We have something here.
I almost forgot about that.
Yeah. But it wasn't until we had to sleep there the night as well. And we were meant to have a room, and Kana was meant to have a room, but she was too scared to sleep in her room. We had a spare bed in our room. So she came and stayed in ours, and we all were like, we're winding down. I think we'll put on Big Bang Theory or something just to kind of, come down from an investigation.
It's a pretty heavy energy down there.
And we got to bed, and then the heater in the room, like the plug-in heating, like the...
It was one of those little fan heaters.
Fan
that
heaters?
Sits up on the table. Yeah.
It just turned itself on and just started going. And we're all of the other side of the room. And we had static cameras rolling. The important static cameras.
You just see three of us in bed or just be like...
Let's just sit up. Hang on, what's going on? But...
my favourite part, though, Jason picked up at, again, while editing, and it just spins me out. And to this day, I think it's probably one of my favourite pieces of evidence. As in how convincing it is, because there's three of us in bed, like not moving in a closed lock door. And the heater, that same little fan heater, now off because you see me literally get up, turn the bloody thing back off after it turned itself on. It moved across the table. Not by a lot, but you actually see it move. It probably moved maybe like that far.
Yeah,
that's about
that's
it.
a heavy object.
It just moved across the table and then stopped. And it's
did you actually hear it when it was sliding?
No, because it was just the static cameras don't have the best audio.
Yeah, but the video of it, you see it actually go.
Yeah, and it's crazy. It's turned off. It shouldn't be moving. There was like, I went through in my brain every single thing. I was like, maybe there was a mouse in our room. Like, a mouse can't pull a heater. I was like, well, like a bigger animal could, like, and I was like, but they can't get through the door. I was literally going through every single thing in my mind as to what could have done it. And there's just nothing. There's just nothing. Like, why would that?
The coolest thing about that night as well, they were renovating the bar, so there was no one else in the building. It was just us three.
Yeah.
So, any other things going on there, they had it closed down. Everyone was out of there. There was only one guy that was staying there, and he was working the night shift, so he wouldn't be back till 6 a.m. in the morning. So we were the only three in the entire building. So, yeah, that's... Freemasons Hotel for sure was the big one, and we went, okay, hang on a second.
Yeah.
It's funny you went because you talk about the Swanview Tunnel, and that's a place where if we do a public investigation just to expose people who want to know what it's like, we'll probably go there 9 times out of 10 because it's such a good location, and there is, I wouldn't say it's high level activity, but there's definitely activity there. That being said, you know how I talked about what was your first big piece of evidence that sort of blew you away? I was in there with the 3 people way back at the start, just after starting Wapper up, but this wasn't a Wapper thing. And we got a train light coming into the tunnel and then it faded out. We got it on camera.
Oh, wow.
We heard a noise. Now, you know, you've got the car park end where you walk in. It was the
Yes.
opposite end that goes out into the John Forrest National Park. It was coming in from that side. And we were like, you know, and we were also like into one of those little alcoves just in case, but it wouldn't have come more than maybe 10 meters in and it just faded out. We've actually got it on footage. I've got to go through all my old stuff, but when I find it, I'll let you see it. So we were like,
yeah, I'd love to see it. 'Cause
That is so cool.
we picked up a really cool photo of a figure clearly standing in the way there as well.
lady?
But the cool thing about it is like it's funny.
No,
No,
it's just
it
like
looks
a
it looks like a
shadow
it looks like a big shadow figure, but it got their like arm up, and it looks like they're holding a lantern or they're holding something because they got their arm up in front of them like this.
It's funny because we've seen then a similar photo that somebody else had put up. And I think I've seen 2 photos since that are similar and gone down there because I'm like, it's probably just something to do with like the brickwork or whatever that makes it look like there's a dark section, you know. But couldn't reproduce it.
Yeah, we took 27 photos in a row, just bang, 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 and that was the only one that was different. Like we've got the befores and after photos still, and that was just that one was different. But it's funny you say that, like when you want to give people an experience, you take them down there. Like I think for us, the Swanview Tunnel has just become the best kind of training grounds for our team.
Exactly.
Because
exactly.
we actually did the same thing before we went and took the whole team on our last trip to Albany. We went out to the Swanview Tunnel to say, we took all 6 of us there because we were like, this is a very, very hard location to have 6 people filming, investigating this, because everyone's sound is it's literally like cancelling because echoes go through. We had 3 teams of 2 on each entrance, and then we were in the middle. And we were like, now we're going to have to learn how to deal with noise pollution. And we purposely made it so difficult to investigate on purpose because it was like, we needed to learn how we all work as a unit in such a small space with all that noise pollution.
Even like setting up and stuff, it was just, you know, if you don't know about, you know, how to rig up all the cameras, now you're going to learn how to do it in the dark.
Yeah.
With just a torch or like just a, and so yeah, it was very much a test for everybody just to go through the motions of setting up and yeah, all of it. It was pretty good actually.
It's good. Yeah, it's great place.
And we got evidence, which was
we did get some evidence, which was good. Yeah.
It's always good to do that. Now tell me about your team. How many people, I think you mentioned 6 at the time, but how many people are actually on your team, and how did you pick them, I guess, or interview them or vet them to make sure you got the right people with you?
Yeah, so we got Ken and I. We're kind of the 2 behind the helm, running the team. But we have 3 other investigators now. So we have Shane, which ironically was there for the very first Oliver State. He took some time away, and halfway through the year, he's now fit and ready to come back. So he's come back to us. So we're like, yes, all right, cool. And then we've got Star, who was our very first subscriber, flew all the way from New South Wales to be there for the Newcastle jail investigation.
Well, he was one of your friends from online as well. And so he was testing out the equipment.
Yeah.
Like testing out, sorry. They were testing out the YouTube channel when you were first setting it up. So then they were there.
They ended up subbing before I even subscribed to Half-Life Party. So they flew across for the jail and then ended up moving here. So then we were like, all right, well, cool. Like, do you want to come out and guest on a few other investigations? And then became a casual member. So that's how we found Star. And then Beck, ironically, we got to film the Garrick Theatre investigation. She just happened to be one of the people from the Garrick that had to be in the building while we were there. So we brought her along to come in for parts of the investigation. She ended up staying for the whole investigation. And we just was like, yeah, we're going to steal her.
She was the right person. So
she was the right fit, the right person. So we kind of just were like, offered her to come out as a casual investigator, and she was like, oh yeah, we're doing this. So,
Yeah.
and she's been with us since. And then I think after that, like, we were like, oh, by the way, we're going to Albany in 6 weeks. Do you want to come? And she was like, yeah, sure. So she just dropped everything and just was like,
Yeah.
I mean,
And it's like we've had some others come and go throughout, and that's usually just due to other commitments and things like that. You know, like Michael from the beginning just
Couldn't do
found
it.
that he just really couldn't commit to
Yeah.
doing it regularly and the late nights and stuff like that.
became a paramedic.
Yeah.
So her schedule was all over the place.
Yeah. And so there's been people come and go. I think at one point we tried doing a interview process, but it just doesn't work that
Doesn't
well.
work.
So the majority of people that we've actually ended up bringing into the team, it's been because we've ended up investigating with them, or people that we would
Yeah.
investigate with, like through like Beck through the location. Star just came over for a once off. Shane was just there.
Shane was there from the start. Like he came for the first one, but timing wasn't right. He needed to do some other things personally, and timing just wasn't there. But
Because it's a commitment.
it's a massive
It's a
commitment.
commitment for
But
everyone.
but he was a boomerang. He came back, and now he's like, when he came back, he had to binge the whole channel because he was like, I need to see what you guys have been up to. And then had a heart attack when he realized how much had happened since he was last here.
And like we said, you know, like everybody needs to know the film side of it,
Yeah.
because that's such an important part. One, for, you know, when we do approach locations about what we're going to, you know, give back, what we're going to produce for them if they allow us to investigate. But also from the point of view of, like, if people are watching, and we're trying to say, oh yeah, this is what's happening in the room at the time, and it wasn't any of us, and we're filming, you know, the bench top, which we did at Oliver's Day, was filming the cutlery or the chairs, then you can't see that. There's no evidence. Then it's like we had an experience, but there's no evidence.
Yeah.
So it's a commitment for everyone to have to actually learn how to film and how to investigate as well. So yeah, it's a pretty big expectation that we have on people, and they all meet the mark.
Well, that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing, because it keeps them interested.
No.
And like you said, teaching them how to film properly and things like that, it does build their own skill sets up, and it makes them feel a little bit more part of the team when they're getting in, mucking in and doing a lot of these different duties, which in a lot of teams is stuck to sort of one person. But you guys are fairly prolific. You have quite a busy schedule. How do you handle that?
To be honest, I have no idea. The answer is I don't know.
Yeah, so it's like, do we handle that?
Because we both work like 9 to 5 jobs. So like Afterlife Party fits in around that. But we do have a massive schedule. You know, we've pretty much worked out 2026 already, like for the channel this year. Like we have so much footage. I think we filmed like 55 terabytes of footage last year. So
at this point, we don't need to investigate for the channel for quite some time. But the problem is that we have investigations set up because turns out we love it. So we're still doing it.
Essentially for me, because I edit the videos for YouTube. So for me, it's go to work, come home, edit, have dinner, edit, go to sleep. And then, but the good thing about my work is when I told my work, they were like, oh yeah, no, what's your expectations? I was like, Monday. I said to them, I want 4 days a week because I want 1 day to work on this. And my work actually turned around and went, oh, you've got that passion project? Yes, we'll do that. So I was like, okay, cool. They're just so happy to give me Monday, which is awesome because I get a 3-day weekend every week. But now Mondays has become Afterlife Party Day, which I invest more time into that than I do on my normal job days. So it's, you know, it works itself out, but it's the only way that we could manage it.
And last year I was studying as well. I was studying and working. So that's pretty much our schedule is, come home and he's editing and I'm studying.
Yeah.
And when I'm not working on Afterlife Party. So
yeah. On average, how many investigations do you think you guys would do a year? Well, 1 for the channel, but 2 just general investigations.
We worked out last year was our busiest because we've only had the channel going. Well, the channel technically has been going since the end of 2022, but we didn't launch it until July 30, 2023. But we've been investigating since late 2022.
Yeah.
Last year was our busiest year. We did 20 investigations in total last year. But I think the year before that was around the 13, 14 investigations. I kind of try and do one a month.
And that's probably what we'll go for again this year.
Yeah.
Just so we can focus on surviving and no, focus on some other things in the background. Like we're saying, the more that we get ourselves out there, the more opportunities come up for us. So try and focus maybe a little bit on promoting ourselves and getting out there and bringing in new people to the channel and that, and then hopefully maybe getting to travel and do really cool locations elsewhere.
Yeah, outside of WA. I mean,
Yeah.
that's always
That's the plan.
Yeah.
That was going to be my next question. Have you guys investigated outside of WA yet?
No, I've been to a couple of places in America when I was over there, but not to investigate. I got to go to Bobby Mackey's and Waverly
Well, that's
Hills,
gone
which was
now,
really
yeah.
awesome.
I'm so jealous.
Didn't get to investigate, but I got to go, which was cool.
Did you have a door slam on you
Yeah.
at Bobby Mackey's?
Yeah. So that was cool, but we haven't as of yet, but we are really focusing on like widening out past WA. Like we said at the start of this year, it's like, okay, we know we can consistently, do locations here in WA and keep that afloat. That's not an issue. But and now it's like, what if we reach outside of WA? Like, what opportunities can come there? So there's definitely some places over east that we have our eye on, which is cool. But it's just getting over there. Like we obviously did all the Albany trips last year, and it's like if we want to get out over east and go outside of WA, then we're going to have to put them on hold for a year because we can't do both.
Yeah.
So,
There's only so much we can do.
Yeah.
No, well, I was recently, as in, I think November last year, I was out in Broken Hill, which is in New South Wales. And we fly into Adelaide and then we drive from Adelaide out to New South Wales. And what I've found, there's a town, I can't remember the name of it, it begins with T, but it's one of the most haunted places in South Australia. We almost went in there. There's one little pub that has about 2 or 3 people come in, but there's about 10 or 15 buildings there, all empty, and you're just allowed to investigate the whole lot. And apparently some of the activity that happens there is, you can see it from the main road, but it is so far off the main road, you're not going to get any ambient sound. You're not going to get any kind of interference, except maybe 2 or 3 people who are in the pub. And then apparently they're gone pretty early anyway. But I said, we're going to do that next. Now, I've investigated in the eastern states. I've investigated here in WA, Singapore, the UK, and a couple of other places. But it sounds like you don't have a problem finding places here in WA for such a new place. It's really good.
I love that you say that because to me, and I think you can agree with this, and there's probably other people here in WA that can agree with this too. WA is slept on as far as paranormal locations are concerned.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone always talks about the big locations in the east and this and that. And yeah, don't get me wrong. They have some real, ones that we're looking at that would love to do. But over east, they sleep on WA. We have some really cool locations here and some that may fly under the radar as well because, we've investigated Kalamunda Hotel, which is always up there as severely haunted, but we've been to other locations that get zero recognition that are way more haunted and way more activity than that place from our experiences. And it's like, WA, there's a lot here if you know where to look.
Yeah.
I love the places that, that you just don't expect. Like the Olive Estate. Like nobody's heard of the Olive Estate. It wouldn't be on anybody's radar. I think still hardly anybody's heard of the Olive Estate unless they've watched our videos. But yeah, those little places that nobody would even think of, they're sometimes the most active. And I think because we base when we're looking for places, not on necessarily paranormal stories that we hear, but we go first for the history. It's
Yeah.
like where in WA has a lot of history, and those are the places where there tends to be, I guess, a lot of emotion tied to. Because with early settlement history and that, there's emotion, and then we find that those places are fairly active most of the time.
Yeah.
And getting some new places on the map in terms of paranormal, going to new places where the spirits have probably never had the opportunity to speak and be heard by a team. So that's kind of cool. And there's just no shortage of
Yeah.
locations here. Hey, like we could,
Yeah.
people say, oh, you're just going to run out of places to do in WA, but we could just keep going.
It's funny you say that about Olive Estate, because you look at Olive Estate and you go, there's no way. But when you think about it, like that's the Henley area. When the Swan River settlement happened, that's a stone's throw away
Well, it
from.
was owned by James Sterling.
It was.
Yeah.
And there's a
So when you
famous
think
site
about it,
up
it's
there.
like, yeah, and it's like if you're just looking for haunted places on, your websites in WA, of course you're going to get all the, the known ones. But, go looking for your history first before you go looking for your paranormal.
Mm.
Because you'll, like, there is a lot out there. There's a lot out there.
Well,
Yeah.
I'll tell you one of the most active places that I've been, and it's not in WA, it's actually in Singapore, and that's a place called the Old Changi Hospital. I don't know if you've heard of that place. If you haven't, look it up. There's such a history on that place because it was a hospital. Then so that obviously some dodgy stuff that happens in hospitals. It became a military base in the Second World War. Then when Japan took over, when they invaded Singapore and forced the Allies, the Brits and everybody out, they took control of the Old Changi Hospital. And there's a lot of history of torture and different things happening in there.
Yeah.
I've been there 3 times. The first time we just had a look around and, I'm serious. If you Google this place and have a look at it, you're just going to go, it's such a good place. The second time I was able to get in and investigate, and I have to keep that quiet because that was with a team
Yeah.
over there. But some of the stuff, wow. And then the last time I went back, I took my son over there. I went back and they've now started developing a good portion of the old hospital into a hotel. So I actually went there and I was speaking to the guys that were working and I said, have you seen anything? And they all went, yes. They've seen people jumping out of windows. They've seen all sorts, but there's nobody there. It's not workers or anything like that.
Wow.
They've seen people in the corridors. They've seen Japanese soldiers in the corridors. Apparently, it's been blessed by a priest so many times and different religious things because they're trying to clear it. But some of the main buildings of that complex now are open if you want to go and stay there the night.
Wow. That's actually really cool.
That is awesome. Yeah.
Far out. It always spins me out when places like that get developed. It's just like, I don't know, cool place to go and investigate. Nice to get to know the spirits and the history. Wouldn't want to live there. Even like down the road in Swan District's hospital, which is now being demolished, but it was a paranormal hotspot, one that was not, that was actually closed off to the public.
Weren't you born here?
I was born there, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very sad day when that closed. Sad day when it was demolished. But now that they're building that's like a whole sub development, or land development. And I'm just kind of thinking, I wouldn't want to build a house there. I'm all for talking to the spirits, but I'd prefer them not to be like in my living room every day trying to talk to me. Like, can I please have some space?
It's funny you say that because the couple of hospitals we have investigated are so highly active as well.
Mhm.
So it's just like, because they'll be dealing with death on a daily basis, whether or not it's just people passing away from natural causes or getting ill or whatever it is, like it's still a thing that happens. And it's like, putting a house there or a combination there, that's just something else, isn't it?
Especially that one that you were talking about. That's like next level.
Well, the strange thing about that in particular as well is if you've never been to Singapore, Changi, you got the prison there, which would be another place, but it's still open.
Mm.
I think they do tours to parts of it, but Changi itself, all that is there is their military base, the old hospital / hotel now, and the prison. You've got to then travel by taxi a long way. Actually, no, there's the international school's not far away from that as well. But then you've got to travel over the other side of Singapore to get to where all the touristy things are happening. So I don't know why they decided to develop that into a hotel, because it's so far away from everything.
That's really weird. Yeah.
Yeah. So it makes me wonder what
What are they
else
doing?
is going on with that lot there. But next question for you. What is the most scary investigation or thing that's happened to you on an investigation?
I think it has. Okay. There's two. One of them is not released yet, but there is one that has been released, and that is, for me personally, shadowed out Vancouver Arts Centre in Albany. There's not even a debate.
So that's the old. Speaking of hospitals, it's the old Albany Cottage Hospital.
Yep.
And yeah, that place definitely has some activity, and it's someone there who wants power and will seem to really do whatever it takes to get it. Initially we thought by power they were, like affecting our electronics and all that sort of stuff. And I think in the end it turned out that the power that they wanted was more from, actually taking over.
Yeah.
So
have you ever investigated Vancouver Arts Centre?
No, I've been in there and I've spoken to them about it, but I haven't actually done it yet.
Yeah. So whatever, for some reason, we've never had an investigation where we've had corrupted memory cards and cameras just malfunction, like left, right, and center.
Yeah.
I mean, when we filmed that, we were filming, Star and I are at the top of the stairs, you and Becca are on the bottom of the stairs, and we're filming, and the camera just shuts off, just out of nowhere, like shuts off. We turned it back on, it said corrupted memory card, and like, do you want to reformat? And we were like, holy crap, like we've just filmed the whole investigation and the whole first section and everything on this memory card, and we've lost it. Which, as you know, as investigators, that is the worst thing that could happen. Especially when
we're telling people, hey, we're going to give you some, we're going
Really
to show
good
you
stuff.
some footage at the end of this. That's part of their incentive, isn't it? And then to walk away and be like, oh, we have nothing. Sorry.
Sorry. So we were like, oh my God, let's just stop where we're at. Let's see if we can ask the staff that had to be on location if we can put the memory card in, like the SD card in, and check that our footage is good, because we don't want to touch anything on this memory card until we know.
And as potential evidence, I was like, actually get another camera. Let's film what's happening now. And we'll film, like what's going to happen when we put this memory card in here. Do we have the footage? Don't we? What's going on? And I've turned that camera on and I'm literally pointing it at the laptop and Jason. And that camera just dies.
It's the same thing, corrupt.
Different
camera, different SD card, different brand, different anything. Oh, we've just gone, what the hell? So now we're like, well, we don't know what we have, what we don't have.
One of our statics was behaving.
One of our statics, we then went to get one of our statics and we brought one of our static phasm cameras into the room we were in, and it was still saying it was in the other room. On the camera, it was like the picture it was showing.
Another room.
It was saying recording and it was ticking down time, but it's not in the room anymore. And we were like, what is going on? So we stopped the phasm camera and it was still saying it was in the room. I hit record. It started a new recording and it was saying it was in a completely different room. And we were like, this is just weird. It wasn't until we completely did a hard reset on it, started back up, it said we're in the hallway. It wasn't until we went back and post-production, it was recording the whole time.
Yeah.
But it was just jumping frame rates all over the place.
And it turned its own audio off. We haven't even worked out how to turn the audio off.
No.
But it muted its
own. It muted its own mic on the camera. It just everything got fiddled with. So we were like, at this point, it's for one camera to go, we could say, okay, it could be a faulty camera. The camera needs some work done or something like that.
The one word that kept coming up was secrets.
Keep my secrets
or something. And I think that, we sort of said when we went in there, we were like, this is one place that is just so, we keep getting told, investigated, it's so active and all of that. But we're like, but we've never seen an investigation happen here.
No
We've
footage.
read about it, but there's no investigations available to watch. And now we know why.
Yeah, and if cameras, if
They
cameras
don't want to be filmed.
But it kept happening. Like the minute we turned a camera on somewhere, then our infrared light just started pulsating. We turned our floodlight on, that started pulsating for no reason. Every time we put a piece of equipment down, it would go off and it would take us to a different place. And then we'd come back the whole time.
Every single time, though.
We ran through like 13 batteries, which have about 55 minutes to an hour and 5 minutes of record time in 3.5 hours.
Wow.
But everything that was happening was continuously drawing us to the staircase, which, to be honest, wasn't on our, like, we do a pre-investigation, like we find out what we can about the place from the people there and all of that. We do a bit of a plan beforehand so that we know where we're going to go. So we've got quick transitions and stuff, make the most of our time. And the staircase was not on the plan at all. But we just kept getting drawn back to this staircase. We're like, okay, well, we're investigating the staircase then. And that's where we spent the majority of the night. Until we left. And we left because the feeling at the top of those stairs was so off. And then there was more camera problems and stuff. And as, I think Jason you just changed at the top there.
Yeah.
Having things with the camera, Jason just completely changed in his whole demeanor. And I was just like, oh, it's just like, yes, I know it's frustrating. Like we've had problems with the cameras. We're losing, things just keep going wrong. So I've gone to sit next to him, and Beck is communicating this to me. I'm behind him. So like Beck is communicating this to me with just eyes. We're at the top of the stairs. And she's just like, something's wrong. I was like, what's happening? So I was just like, okay, yeah, no, you've shut down a bit.
Yeah.
Which is very, very unusual, actually, even in itself. So I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to sat next to him and like, just to get that connection to be like, hey, like, well, like, what's going on? It's all good. And just nothing, absolutely nothing, just dead staring at me with like disgust. And I'm like, oh, fuck. My stomach just absolutely churned. And Beck was terrified. She didn't speak until she moved 3 stairs backwards because she was afraid. I just was sitting there like, okay, we just got to wrap this up real quick right now. Didn't want to skip filming an outro or anything because that might upset you.
Yeah.
We didn't know what you were going to do.
Yeah,
So we're just like, we're just going to behave as normally as possible right now and just be like, yep, okay, cool. So we're just going to wrap this up. We're going to go down these stairs and we're going to go outside for a break. Yeah.
It's interesting you were saying about how Jason, his demeanor changed, because I've had it happen to me when we investigated out at Fairbridge. That was many, many years ago. And I've seen it happen twice down at Albany, particularly when investigating the morgue there in the quarantine station.
In the quarantine? Oh, okay.
Well, yeah.
Interesting.
It's because what's crazy is when this was going on and I changed, I remember nothing. I didn't remember anything until I was outside. And there's a gap from my memory of that place of when I was at the top of the stairs and then I was outside. And the thing is, cameras are rolling the whole time, and you kind of see when, like when Kat says, should we go out, we'll do that and we'll go outside. I am just staring like through her. But every time she's talking and moving, like my eyes were just following her every movement. And the pause from when she says, we'll do that, there is like a 5-second pause and you hear me say very low, yep. And like, it's like, there's a long pause there. And I think everyone's hearts were just dropping because like, it was like they just had no idea.
If he doesn't agree to coming outside, like, well, what do we do? Because like, we need to just get the hell out of here. It was actually really, really scary. That's the most scariest. That'd be the scariest thing that's ever happened. And I think you can hear even when I'm talking about it, like it's uncomfortable.
Yeah. Well, when we were doing Fairbridge, like I said, like you, I don't remember anything that happened, but everybody told me that I was saying things that I would not say. I spoke to my wife in a manner that I would never speak to her in. And it's funny because it actually affected my son as well. My son used to come out investigating with us as well. And this is one of the places that actually freaked him out. Twice we investigated this place. Twice he came. Twice he left early. He doesn't remember, the drive out of Fairbridge. He doesn't remember the drive out when he left until he was on the Southwest Highway. And then he can remember everything plain as day at that point. But at before that, him and his best mate were almost ready to belt the crap out of each other. And that's one of the reasons why they left. So there is definitely something there that does mess with people, and it's messed with a lot of people that we've investigated with there. So if you do investigate, or if you have investigated, you would either know or be warned that it is possible to happen there. So it's interesting,
Yeah,
it's
good to
really
know.
interesting. So when you guys investigate, what sort of gear do you take with you?
Gosh, we have obviously, we love all kinds of gadgets and stuff, but sometimes gadgets don't always need to be I know this cat loves this.
Oh, yeah.
They don't always need to be all your high tech stuff as well, because we've had just as much results with just little Kmart toys up here. But obviously, everyone's going to say the first thing to jump to, or these days, is your phone apps. But there is one that we do use, but that's we researched the ever loving crap out of that as much as we could anyway.
As much as you can.
But we anything from, EMF meters, K2s, we use them for debunking more than we do investigating. And they're obviously always see on investigations people with K2s, and for us,
we use them in most places.
No,
it's very rare that we find a situation where you can legitimately investigate.
Yeah, so that comes in our toolkit as a debunking tool. We got the SB7, we got the REM pod, we got the Dead Bell, we got the Obolus 5, we've got EVP recorders, cat balls, but then there's some stuff that's a little bit more on the interesting side.
Well, our chirpy birds up here, they are just a thing that we can put in another room, and if the spirits choose to interact with it, it can draw our attention, plays a little tune. So I love things that are a little bit different like that. That there's certain things like, we have flux too as well.
Oh yeah, flux too.
So when it comes to the things like that are made to be paranormal equipment, for one, they are very expensive, often because of the label.
Yes.
When you look at the actual
REM pod
electronics, when you look at the electronics required to make one of those, I don't know why they cost what they cost.
The old thermal circuit for the REM pod.
That's it. Yeah. And it's like, what the hell? So there's that. I would love to learn to make these things myself. That's my next. That'll be a fun mission, is to get more into electronics.
Yeah, Kat wants to.
Because if I make them, I trust them more. So, and then because that's one of those things that you watch, or people say to us, is like, well, how do you know that thing's not just designed to go off at random intervals? It's like, well, technically I don't, because I didn't make it. But I just have to test it out and believe that it doesn't, through trial and error.
And you're a very science and analytical brain as well.
I am, yeah. So, so things like that are really cool, and it's great when we understand what they do and how they work, and we know that they've been made well. But yeah, I also like having just everyday bits and pieces around for investigating with, like cat balls are classic. I love the cat balls. And EVPs always good. And same with, what else do we have? There's things in the...
Your creepy baby.
Oh, creepy baby.
The creepy baby. It's just a doll that is like, that moves when it detects motion in front of it.
I've seen that.
It's like, and we were thinking of a name for this thing, and we was like, Creepy Baby. It's just going to be called Creepy Baby, and that's it. Like, that's all there is to it.
It's pretty creepy.
Yeah.
It's pretty creepy. But
One of my
what we're
investigators
saying
has
about,
one.
you know,
Oh, sorry. Yeah, one of my investigators has one, and when we were
Yeah.
out in New York investigating, it started doing a bloody dance, man. It was going off. I'm like, yeah, that if you know, I don't like dolls at the best of the time, but seeing this thing doing its little jiggy dance and crying and stuff, nah.
yeah,
The first time that I met one was at the Bell Tower,
the
actually.
Perth Bell Tower. Yeah,
You've investigated the bell
So
tower.
we
we
have.
have investigated the Bell Tower.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, that will be up on the channel sometime this year.
Yeah, in the next two months or something.
Next couple of months, yeah.
Very cool.
So I can't talk too much about that,
No.
but that is where we met Creepy Baby.
Yeah.
The staff there now have their own. I believe it was given to them by another team. And this thing like grabbed me. Like I couldn't get it to go off because I was trying to work out how it works. Like because it's motion sensor, but like it seems to be more light sensitive. And I was like trying to play around with it and get it to go off. And it just wouldn't. Nothing was setting it off. It wasn't till I like grabbed it that it suddenly just put its arm like down and like grabbed my hand and just like threw it and just I hit the floor. And it was so funny. I think it's all on camera too.
Yeah, it's like I think we jokingly
but
said like
I was like, I was like, I don't want anything to do with this thing. And then
We
the
end
next
up having
week, I
one.
was like, Kmart buying one for ourselves.
Yeah. Oh, believe it or not, we are out of time. We've already done our time. But before
my
we go,
gosh.
first thing
Sorry.
I want to do, can I get you guys to give everybody a heads up on some of the things they can, obviously only what you can talk about, but what they can expect over the next 12 months from you guys? And then
so
with everybody,
we
your
could definitely-
socials and everything and where they can find you.
Yeah, for sure. We've got the YouTube channel. I think tomorrow, so it'll be Sunday the 11th, I think, of Jan. We'll be dropping our very first 5-part actual, like almost mini series for the first time. In Albany. All our Albany locations we have filmed at are coming out and around, which is going to be really, really awesome. Every fortnight, videos going up on the channel.
Strongly encourage everyone to jump on Facebook and follow us there, because that is where you will see everything that we are up to, where we've been, what videos are coming out, as long as there are sneak peeks of investigations to come. And some behind the scenes stuff every now and then as well. So strongly encouraged. Jump on there, see what we've been up to, and you'll find something that you like.
Yeah. A couple of things we've also, a channel we're turning through, we're going to be doing something special with the public for that as well later this year, which is going to be really, really cool. We're going to get out amongst the people this year, which is really, really cool. We did our events in Albany at the Albany Comic Jail where people got to investigate alongside us, and we're going to try and bring that show to Perth. So that's a big focus for us this year. So to people to experience what we experience, you know, and be educated in the field as well.
Yeah.
Which is the main thing. Yeah. So, but like Kat said, jump over on the Facebook. You can see everything. Obviously, the Afterlife Party Paranormal on YouTube. Every fortnight on Sundays, we upload an investigation or a video.
Sundays at 6 p.m.
Yep. So, yeah.
The next 5 weeks, they're going to be weekly.
They're going to be weekly. First ever investigation week, 5-part weekly. We had so much. We returned to the Point King Lighthouse and Patrick Taylor Cottage, and it was unreal. It's the most. Yeah, we had 2 things that happened at both those locations. So this time we sent 2 members of the team off to each location and investigated them simultaneously at the same time as a very different experiment. And it was unreal. It's probably one of the most active investigations we've ever had. It's crazy. So yeah, definitely check it out.
Wow. Okay. Well, Jason, Kat, the Afterlife Party, thank you for joining us on the show. And I hope you'll come back on again and talk about some more of your adventures in the very near future.
Yeah, I'd love to. Thanks for having us, man. I really appreciate it. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's nice to have like-minded people who like doing paranormal investigation the right way. And I've got all the time in the world for you guys. So thanks for coming on the show. Take it easy, guys.
Thanks. Yeah, will do. Thank you.
Thank you.